Hi, my name is Rich Abel, and I'm the medical lead for our movement disorders program here at Praxis. I'd like to take the time to thank the IETF for this opportunity today, and also during other times throughout the year for us to share a bit about Praxis, but more importantly, for being a partner with us in this journey to discover a potential treatment for essential tremor. This presentation may contain forward-looking statements, and I would like to let you know that I will be discussing an investigational product today. During our discussion, we like to tell you more about Praxis and our commitment to innovation and movement disorders, highlight why we think innovation is critical for people with essential tremor. We'll also share information about our investigational medication Praxis-944 for essential tremor, and talk a bit about our clinical development plans. Lastly, we'll discuss ways that we can keep in contact. First, let me tell you a little bit about Praxis for some of you who may not be aware of who we are. At Praxis, we see a real need to advance scientific understanding and to develop therapies with the needs and experiences of people with essential tremor at the forefront. We are a biopharmaceutical company that focuses on developing potential treatments for people with central nervous system disorders. A lot goes into developing these therapies. It takes passion, focus, and trust between the scientists and physicians that we're working with. But it asks the most of you, the people who are living with essential tremor, who are seeking better options. It takes your commitment and trust, and we never take that for granted. We understand that CNS conditions like ET have deep and far-reaching impact on everyday lives and well-being of individuals, as well as their families and the communities that they're a part of. That's why we're focused on bringing a new understanding to these long-neglected disorders and a fresh hope and excitement for people to live fully and on their own terms. You can see here our mission statement on the slide. And instead of reading it to you, I just wanted to point out some key words that explain a little bit more about what our aim is. And that is to develop therapies faster and more effectively than has ever done before. This is what drives us every single day. Now to why innovation and why we think it's important for people with essential tremor. Our guiding principle at Praxis is to dare for more. And through our science, we aim to be fiercely committed to providing people living with essential tremor a world without limitations, free to move when, where, and how they want. As many of you well know, ET is the most common movement disorder, impacting an estimated 7 million people just in the US alone. I mention this 7 million number because it shows that you're not alone, that there is a community. There are many people who are just like you. Through listening to individuals and families living with essential tremor, we've heard that ET can impact people in many different ways, and that the condition goes far beyond the tremor. The symptoms disrupt a person's everyday life, and are often associated with embarrassment, anxiety, depression, and sometimes isolation. ET is a serious condition, and we are serious about finding a way to better help individuals who live with this condition each day. You may have had experience with medications for essential tremor, and hopefully it has been well to you and provided you with some relief. Unfortunately, we understand that current therapies often fail to meet the needs of people living with essential tremor. This isn't surprising, especially since none of the existing therapies were developed with this disorder in mind. Current therapies may only partially reduce control of symptoms for some people, while others may struggle with side effects or must navigate their medication journey, dealing with interactions that make it difficult to start or even stay on the therapy that they're on. For some, we've heard that the side effects of treatment can be worse than the tremor itself. We're seeing many people left coping with the symptoms without appropriate treatment or facing invasive procedures that carry risk and may not work. We appreciate that none of the therapies used today to help people with essential tremor were developed with ET in mind. Our goal is to develop a precision medicine expressly developed with you in mind. With that, I'd love to tell you more about the work that we are doing in developing our investigational medication, Praxis-944. Praxis-944 is currently being studied in Essential-1, which is a phase 2 clinical trial to evaluate the efficacy, tolerability, and safety of treatment in patients with moderate to severe essential tremor. Let's talk a little bit more about 944. So in essential tremor, we know that the neurons that deliver messages to parts of the body are overreactive, and they tend to do so in the rhythmic, oscillatory, active, and inactive way. With this, you can imagine the brain is driving tremors in the hand and other parts of the body in the same on-off way. We believe that the tremor results in an imbalance in calcium channels in the brain. And our target, that is the molecule that Praxis-944 blocks, is present in the circuits involved in this rhythmic oscillatory signaling pathway. This target is a T-type calcium channel. We know that this rhythmic activity in the brain is abnormal. And if we can block this activity using Praxis-944, then we can reduce the activity and potentially reduce tremors. This is the scientific rationale behind our investigational medication, Praxis-944. For clarity, we at Praxis are developing a special type of calcium channel blocker, different from available calcium channel blockers used to manage, for example, blood pressure or cardiovascular disorders. Praxis-944, again, is a T-type calcium channel blocker with high specificity. This is very different from anything else on the market, and it gives us potential to reduce tremors, make day-to-day living less difficult, and hopefully minimize side effects seen with other therapies. Again, Praxis-944 is being developed with essential tremor population in mind. It is designed to block the T-type calcium channels in certain parts of the brain to help stop tremors, help participants in our studies, and eventually, hopefully, help the larger community regain control of their lives. We have formulated Praxis-944 as a once daily oral pill, as some medications are multiple dosed a day and burdensome. Praxis-944 has been well tolerated in clinical studies to date in both healthy volunteers and essential tremor patients in our earlier studies. Currently, we're in what is called, again, the phase 2 of the FDA clinical development. This means that we're actively studying the use of Praxis-944 in approximately 100 participants with essential tremor. Clinical development plans for essential tremor. So we're currently urgently advancing Praxis-944 in essential tremor. Here's a look at where we are in the clinical development program, again at the phase 2. We recently completed our phase 2A study, and we now have the 2B study, which is the Essential-1 study that's ongoing. Early this year, we reported top-line results from our phase 2A Part B trial. The Part B of the phase 2A study included both open label and a randomized withdrawal period. In this study, Praxis-944 showed clinically meaningful functional improvement. Praxis-944 was also generally well tolerated with no new safety findings. Now, specifically, this means that for safety profile itself, it was consistent with what we've seen previously with Praxis-944 in earlier studies. 8 of the 11 participants completed the open label period at the highest dose, so that's 120 milligrams. 3 of the 14 evaluable participants discontinued, so with 1 discontinuation unrelated to the study drug. All treatment emergent adverse events leading to either down titration or discontinuation were mild to moderate. We need to continue to study this medication in more people with essential tremor to further assess its safety and how well it works at controlling essential tremor symptoms. And we'll see this in the phase 2 study, which is going on or ongoing. One more time. So Essential 1, the phase 2 study is evaluating efficacy, safety, and tolerability of Praxis-944 in adults with moderate to severe essential tremor. And the goal is to see if Praxis-944 compared to placebo can reduce symptoms and burden of essential tremor. We also want to see how and if these responses differ depending on the dose taken for both safety and efficacy outcomes that we're studying in this phase 2 study. A little bit more about Essential 1. So it is ongoing. However, we have completed our open screening period. The study can last up to 14 weeks, including 8 visits at the clinic and 4 telephone check-in visits. The screening process determines if a patient is eligible or individual is eligible to participate in the study. This can take up to 4 weeks to complete and will involve 1 to 2 office visits. The treatment period will assess Praxis-944 over an 8-week period. This will involve 5 office visits, 4 telephone check-ins. The participants will need to complete assessments either at home or in the clinic, as mentioned. And then there's a follow-up period that's 2 weeks, and this includes 1 office visit. During this time, your healthcare provider will evaluate your essential tremor symptoms and overall health. There's also open label extension, which is optional, where individuals will be provided Praxis-944 throughout. So what's next? As we mentioned, Essential 1 is currently ongoing, and once we complete the study, will report top-line results. The data we receive from the Essential 1 will inform us on our approach for potential future phase 3 study. And if necessary, the phase 3 will be next in our development process, which is the natural course. So we would love for you to keep in touch. There's a lot that is happening here at Praxis and with Praxis-944. In the meantime, we will keep our lines of communication open with the community. If you would like, you can sign up here for our email communications by going to the link and completing a 2-minute sign-up form. And you can also reach out directly to our patient advocacy partners at patientadvocacy@praxismedicines.com. Thank you very much for your time today, and we look forward to continuing to be partners. Thank you.